Good morning and welcome to my new class, and we are going to start the next lesson, which is reading C. And I hope that you have understood the first reading and second reading that we have studied in unit first. So let me repeat the readings in unit first. In unit first reading A, we have studied about patriotism, and in reading B, we have studied about how the little kite learned to fly, and in reading C we are going to study about a great movement for all those children. So this is the title of the lesson, a great movement for all those children. So this is what we are going to study now. This is very small lesson, so we will try to finish this lesson in only this video. So before I start the explanation of the lesson, I just want you to go through the lesson, read it once, and this will help you understand the lesson well. Read the lesson completely first and then watch the video, then you will be able to understand what actually I want to teach you in the lesson. So I'm going to give you 16 words meaning today, and let me clarify this to you. As usual, we do that, we write the new word, verb, degree, opposite, and then noun, and word meaning we write. Word meaning you have to write 2 times, and all the homework that are given, I hope that in the last lessons which the homework that are given, you are doing that, and you have to do the homeworks which will be given in the days to come or in the new videos. So keep doing, because these lessons will not be repeated. So I hope that you will do. So let's begin the lesson. So words meaning, number 1, we have, and the first word meaning is media, which means means of communication. Second one is visibility, which means clarity. Number 3rd is deprived, which means disadvantaged. Number 4 is mobilizing, mobilizing meaning gathering together. And number 5 is deliver, which means to provide or provide. Number 6 is recognition, which means identification. Next, number 7 is neglected, which means ignored. And number 8 is inspire, which means encourage. And number 9, incorporated, means included. Number 9, incorporated, which means included. And number 10 is acknowledge, which means accept or admit. Number 11 is intolerable, which means unbearable. And number 12 is unacceptable, which means undesirable. And number 13 is humanity, which means all the people in the world. And number 14 is marvelous, which means wonderful. And number 15 is abolition, which means ending. And number 16 is sustainable, which means capable of continuing. So these are the words meaning. At first learn the words meaning, then watch the video, so that will help. So we are going to start the explanation, and that is, the lesson name is a great moment for all those children. So here is the story about Kailash Satyarthi. So we'll come to know about Kailash Satyarthi, that who he was and what he did for the abolition of the child slavery, that we will know. So this is telephone interview actually. Adam Smith and Kailash Satyarthi, we will come to know both about them. At first we will know about Adam Smith. So let's know about telephone interview with Kailash Satyarthi. Telephone interview with Kailash Satyarthi following the announcement of the 2014 Nobel Peace Prize, 10 of October 2014. So Kailash Satyarthi, he won 2014's Nobel Peace Prize. So Kailash Satyarthi is the Nobel Peace Prize winner, and he won the Nobel Peace Prize on 10 October 2014. But this is just the announcement that he has won the Nobel Peace Prize. And here is the interviewer interviewer's name is Adam Smith, and Adam Smith is Chief Scientist Officer of Noble Media. So we are going to study about Kailash Satyarthi, but Adam Smith is interviewer. So Adam Smith is interviewing to Kailash Satyarthi. So who is Adam Smith? Adam Smith is Chief Scientific. Adam Smith is Chief Scientific Officer of Noble Media. But here Kailash Satyarthi is a social worker, and he has won Nobel Peace Prize in the year 2014. So Kailash Satyarthi, he says hello, and Adam Smith, he says hello Mr. Satyarthi, means Adam Smith, who is the Chief Scientific Officer of Noble Media, he has called. So Adam Smith, who is an interviewer, he has made call to Kailash Satyarthi, and now there is communication, or there is interview which is being taken by Adam Smith to Kailash Satyarthi. So now Kailash Satyarthi and Adam Smith, both of them are having discussion or communication with one another, or let's, in simple word, we can say that Adam Smith is interviewing to Mr. Kailash Satyarthi. Now they are having talks with one another. Now Adam Smith, he says, hello, my name is Adam Smith, and I am calling from Nobel Prize website in Stockholm. So Adam Smith, he is calling from Nobel Prize, which is the website in Stockholm, and he says congratulations on the award of the Nobel Peace Prize. So Adam Smith, he is congratulating to Kailash Satyarthi because Kailash Satyarthi, he has won the Nobel Peace Prize in October 2014. Now Kailash Satyarthi, he says thank you so much, thank you very much, and then he says you have given the great honor. And if you read the book, there is unclear voice because of maybe we can say network or something like that. So there is unclear voice, that's not printed in the book. And then he says, Kailash Satyarthi, he says, to hundreds of millions of children in the world who are deprived means disadvantaged of their childhood and health and condition and fundamental rights to freedom. It is a great moment for all those children, and thank you very much for that. This is what Kailash Satyarthi says. So what he says, let me tell you in very short. Kailash Satyarthi, he says it is really a great honor to win a Nobel Peace Prize, and then he says really it's not only honored for, I'm not only honored, but it's very important for hundreds and hundreds of millions of children in the world, because they are deprived, means they are disadvantaged. It means there are a lot of children, there are several children who they have not enjoyed their childhood, or we can say they do not get their proper health, or they do not get their education. There are a lot of children in the world. So there are the children in the world, and they are deprived, they are disadvantaged. Facility which should be given to a child, facility which, of health which should be given to a child, the education which should be given to the child, which is the fundamental right of a child, that should be provided to the child. But there are a lot of children in the world, they are deprived, they are disadvantaged, they are not getting their fundamental right of freedom, they are not getting right of their education, they are not getting right of their health and childhood. There are a lot of rights which they have, but they are disadvantaged of that, or they are deprived of that. So Kailash Satyarthi, he has he is trying to provide the right of the children to the children who are deprived of their rights. Now again, Kailash Satyarthi, he says thank you very much for the honor that you have given me. And then Kailash Satyarthi, Adam Smith, he says, well, thank you. And then again Kailash Satyarthi, I said there is a conversation between Kailash Satyarthi and Adam Smith. So there will be one talk by Adam Smith, and there will be one talk by Kailash Satyarthi. So just concentrate who is saying and what. So Kailash Satyarthi, he says, it is also a great honor for every Indian citizen, and I am really thankful to all for you. This is what Kailash Satyarthi says. And then Adam Smith, he says, it is also a great honor for every Indian citizen, and I am really thankful to all of you. And then Kailash Satyarthi says, I have won the Nobel Prize, means, or let's say Nobel Peace Prize is given to me, but it's the really honor for every citizens of India, or every citizen of India, because this is the honor which is won by a person of country India. So it's really honor to receive the Nobel Prize by an Indian. And then Adam Smith, he says, that's very kind of you, thank you. And Adam Smith, he asks a question to Kailash Satyarthi, that what message do you hope that the prize award will deliver to the world? Means, by you have Adam Smith, he says to Kailash Satyarthi that you have won a Nobel Peace Prize of 2014. So what do you think? What message is this prize is going to deliver to the world? So Kailash Satyarthi, he says, well, I am quite hopeful and rather sure that this will help in giving bigger visibility and attention to the cause of children who are most neglected and most deprived. This will also inspire individual activists, governments, business houses, corporate to work hand in hand to fight this out. I am quite hopeful about it, and this is the recognition of this issue will help in mobilizing bigger support for the cause. So this is what Kailash Satyarthi, he says. Let me explain what he says. Kailash Satyarthi, he says, when I am receiving the Nobel Peace Prize, it means everybody will, or when I will receive the Nobel Peace Prize, so everybody's attention will be toward me, and when the people will come to know about me from the different part of the world, whether you say about India or about other country, when this news will be spread out in the country and out of the country, abroad, you can say, then it will bring out the attention toward Kailash Satyarthi and what the mission he is in on, so that people will come to know about. And Kailash Satyarthi, he says that this will help in giving bigger visibility, means people will be able to see that still there is existence of the child slavery, or still there are children who are deprived, they are disadvantaged of their childhood and health and education and their fundamental right of freedom, fundamental right of their education. Because there are a lot of children you might have seen in your life yourself. You might have seen in big cities or in slum, you can see that there are a lot of children who do not get their education because they do not have their parents do not have the enough amount of money to send their children in school, or they do not have enough amount of money to feed their children. So they such kinds of parents, they send their children to beg out in the city to earn a certain amount of money. So you might have seen that in your life. So Kailash Satyarthi says that when I will receive this this award, so this will help in giving bigger visibility and attention to the children, and especially about those children who are neglected and they are disadvantaged, means they do not get the advantages of the government facilities which government is providing to them. And it will also inspire to individuals, means personally to each person, and to the activist means the social workers. There are a lot of social workers, they are working in order to provide the children their rights, and this will also help visibility and attention for the governments and business houses, and they will all together work and they will cooperate with one another, and they will hand in hand to fight this out. It means together this individual, means personally each person will try to solve the problem of the children. The activist or the social workers, they will try to find out or sort out the problems of the children. The government will try to solve the problems of the children. The business houses and all of them together, they will try, and they will work in hand to hand to just wipe it out, or just finish the exploitation of the children. And then Kailash Satyarthi says, I am quite hopeful about it. It means he is hoping that there will be time that all the child who are deprived now, they will get their right. And then he also says that this will support in mobilizing in bigger for the cause. It means this will help in spreading the message what Kailash Satyarthi is working. And then Adam Smith, he says marvelous, which means wonderful. And then again Adam Smith, he asks the question. What the question is, listen, this will focus a lot of attention on your work. How can people around the world help you with your mission? This is the question that the people who are living in different part of the world, how will they work in the mission that you are doing? So Kailash Satyarthi, he answers the question, and he says, first of all, every person acknowledge means accept. So Kailash Satyarthi, he says, first of all, every person in the world, they must accept it, and they must feel that still the child slavery exists in the world. You and I may think that we are living in an independent country. We know that you and me, like we are living in the country India, and we know that this is the independent country, and we all are free. You are free, and I am free, and because we celebrate every year the Independent Day, that we can say that we have got the freedom. And you can say that every Indian or every person in the world, you can say, or especially you can say about India, that all the Indians are free. But you must know the reality. This is just the saying. But if you really think that all the Indians are free, you must look about the children who are still disadvantaged, who are still they are deprived of their rights. So if you think about, if you say that everyone has got freedom but they are not getting their rights, so that's not called freedom. So if you see here, Kailash Satyarthi, he said that every person in the world must acknowledge, they must accept that child slavery still exists in the world, and not only it exists, but it exists in its ugliest form and phase. The child slavery still exists in its ugliest face and form. You can't imagine about the ugliest face and form of the child slavery. What is happening with the children, you can't imagine. So it's the responsibility of everyone. Like Kailash Satyarthi says that everybody must accept the reality. So you and I need to accept the reality that still the child slavery is existing in the world, and it's an great evil. It's evil, and it is a crime against humanity. Child slavery is evil, and it's crime against humanity, and it's also intolerable and unacceptable, and the child slavery must go. It must be abolished. And if we see further on what Kailash Satyarthi he says that sense of recognition must be developed. First of all, the first thing is that we must recognize. That is the first thing, that we must recognize that still the child slavery exists in the world. And second thing, he says that there is a need of higher amount of political view. First thing, he says that every person must recognize that child slavery still exists in the world. And second thing, he says that there is a there is need of higher amount of political will. If we recognize and politically nothing is being done, so as much we try to finish or abolish the child slavery, we will be unable to do it until the government will help us or until the political will not be there. So Kailash Satyarthi further says there is a need of higher amount of corporate engagement, means every person in the world, the government or the individual or the activist, every person must include and they must cooperate with one another to work with one another. Then only and also the public must support for it. Until there is no support of the public, the government will not be able to do anything, and if there is no support of government, the public will not be able to do anything. So it's very important for everybody to realize that there is need of higher amount of political will, and every person in the world must recognize their responsibility to save and protect the children on this planet. Then Adam Smith again, he says thank you, and he says, and I suppose, means there is possibility, he says there is possibility, or I suppose that there is end child slavery week coming up in November. So Kailash Satyarthi, he says, of course we are going to organize end child slavery week from 19th November to 25th November. So let me clarify to you what actually end child slavery week is. End child slavery week is a week which is organized from 19th November to 25th of November. Repeating again, the end child slavery week is a week in which is organized from 19th November to 25th of November, and that is an annual event which is organized every year, and they demand the abolition of child slavery, and they also demand this should be added in the Sustainable Development Goal. So what is End Child Slavery Week? End Child Slavery Week is a week which is organized from 19th November to 25th of November, and it is an annual event which is organized and they demand the abolition of the child slavery, and they also demand it to be added in the Sustainable Development Goal. And then let me explain what Sustainable Development Goal is. It's if you read the book, there is two words for that: post-millennium development goal or sustainable development goal. So post-millennium meaning after a time period of 1,000 years. Post-millennium meaning after a time period of 1,000 years, or another word we have for that. Post-millennium development goal is also known as sustainable development goal. So let me explain what the sustainable development goal is. Sustainable development is a development that meets the needs of present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. Repeating again, sustainable development is a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. Let me give you an example. So before I give you the example, I just want you to give your undivided attention toward me, because it's not easy to understand sustainable development. So just try to understand. We have just seen the definition that sustainable development goal, this meets the present needs of the present, means fulfills the present needs and without compromising the ability or without compromising with the future generation. So let me give you example for it. Like you are planting 2 plants or 2 saplings and cutting down a tree for your use. Okay, repeating again. Suppose you are planting 2 saplings or 2 plants or 2 young plants, and you are cutting down a tree. By doing this, what you are doing? You are by cutting a tree, you are fulfilling your present needs, but by planting 2 saplings or 2 plants, you are not compromising with the future generation. Got it? Repeating again, by cutting a tree, you are fulfilling your present needs, and by planting 2 saplings there, you are not compromising with the ability of the future generation. By doing this, you are sustaining. So let's move on. If you see there, in sustainable development goal, there are several points which are added in sustainable development goal. If you see there, in your book, if you find out this in the net, you will find this sustainable meaning capable of continuing. So what are the points which are added in the worldwide or in global level in the sustainable development goal for or up to 2030? So few points I have noted down. If you search out in Google, you will find out the points or the goals of the sustainable development goal in global level for 2030. Number one is, by 2030 there should be low poverty. Second is zero hunger. Third one is good health and well-being. Number fourth is quality education. Number fifth one is gender equality. Number sixth one is clean water and sanitation. Number seven is affordable and clean energy. Number eight is decent work and economic growth. Number nine is industry, innovation and infrastructure. Number 10 is reduced inequality, and number 11 is sustainable cities and communities. These are the 11 points I have noted down from the sustainable development goal in global level for 2030. So Kailash Satyarthi, he is a social worker and he has worked entire of his life for providing or for the abolition of the child slavery. And Adam Smith, he says, thank you very much indeed for speaking to us, and congratulations again for the award of the Nobel Prize that you have won. Kailash Satyarthi, he says, thank you once again on behalf of my all organization and with whom I work, and all the activists, means all the social workers and my fellow Indians. And Adam Smith, he says thank you so much, and he just keeps his phone. But Kailash Satyarthi, he says bye bye, and he also cuts the phone. And then if we before I finish the lesson, I just want to give you some more information, which is a note about Kailash Satyarthi. Kailash Satyarthi along with Malala Yousafzai. So Kailash Satyarthi and Malala Yousafzai, both of them have worked. And Malala Yousafzai, he is from Pakistan, and he was also awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2014. So Kailash Satyarthi, he also won the Nobel Peace Prize, and they have worked together. And or we can say they have worked in their own level, and they have tried to abolish the child slavery. So Kailash Satyarthi, he has worked against the suppression of the children and young people, and they have tried all for the right of the children to educate. And Kailash Satyarthi, he is the fifth person in global level. If we see, he is the fifth person in the world from India who has won the Nobel Peace Prize. Repeating again, Kailash Satyarthi, he is the fifth person in the whole world who has won the Nobel Peace Prize. And Kailash Satyarthi, he is the second Indian. Repeating again, Kailash Satyarthi in the world, if we see overall in the world, then he is the fifth person who has won the Nobel Peace Prize. But if we see from India, he is the second person who has won the Nobel Peace Prize. The first person was Mother Teresa, and Mother Teresa, she won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979. But Kailash Satyarthi, he won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2014. Before I just finish the lesson, I just want to suggest you, if you want to get more information about Kailash Satyarthi and what the work he has done, just search out in the YouTube. You will get all the information about Kailash Satyarthi. I cannot give you some more details about Kailash Satyarthi. I have the detail, but I cannot give you because the video will be so lengthy. So I just want to suggest you just go through the video, and also try to
search yourself from the YouTube, you will get more information about Kara Satyarthi. So I hope you are continuing your studies and the work which are being given to you. You are doing your homework also, and you are learning too. So best wishes and thank you so much.